Thank you, Dr. Harris. Mr. Newhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, by statute, your agency as well as the Department of Labor administer the H-2A Agricultural Guest Worker Program. Based on recent DOL rulemakings that farmers across the country are burdened with, DOL appears to at least not understand or not fully appreciate the importance of the agricultural industry. I, for one, however, would like to believe that you do, that you understand the importance of growing healthy foods in the United States, which aligns with your agency's guiding principles and responsibility to preserve and uphold the nation's prosperity and economic security. So just real simply, do you believe that the ability of a nation to feed itself is inherently more secure than a nation that relies on imports to feed its citizens?
I do.
Good. Thank you.
I am not an expert in that area, but I believe in the H-2A visa process, and in fact, we are expanding it throughout the hemisphere as a critical lawful pathway.
Let me ask you a little bit about that. Earlier this year, the USCIS finalized a new rule that would increase the cost to employers utilizing H-2A, among other programs. While I understand the purpose and the utility of a fee-based program, the need to update based on increased costs, the rule as finalized is overly burdensome and costly to our nation's producers. Not only did the general filing fee increase, but a $600 asylum program fee was added, requiring ag employers to pay for a program that they really don't receive any benefit from. Additionally, instead of just filling one form for all their workers, the final rule caps the number of employees that can be listed on each form at 25. There's no added benefit that I can see for this policy, and it only increases paperwork burdens and costs to ag employers. So now that the rule has gone into effect as of last week, we have some actual costs associated with this rule, and they far exceed the predicted, indicated 20%, 26% increase that was anticipated. So a couple questions here. Do you expect producers to absorb this cost, or are they to pass them on to consumers? If producers are expected to absorb these costs, how do you expect them to stay in business? And if they're no longer in business, how do you and the administration plan to protect our food security when, at the time that the majority of our foods served on our tables becomes imported from other countries?
Congressman, 2 points. Number one, I will allow experts to speak to the downstream economic implications of the fee rule that we were compelled to issue. I am very sensitive to the fact that additional costs were imposed on applicants, and I understand the burden that poses, but U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services was really with its back against the wall, having been driven almost to bankruptcy by the prior administration. The legislation provides that the fees that the agency charges are to be recalibrated according to costs. I believe it is every 2 years, and a fee rule hadn't been promulgated successfully for over 7. I believe my timeframes are correct. And so we had to make some very difficult decisions with respect to how to bring the agency to a point of financial stability, which it had been suffering financial instability for too long, which created backlogs in the administration of our legal immigration system. I will follow up with experts to address your more economic-centered questions.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.